Hello students, we have discussed about the cardinal features, that is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. So these are the 5 cardinal features which are mentioned in the preamble of the constitution. We have discussed all these 5. Today I will start discussing with you the 4 objectives of the state, that is justice, liberty, equality and fraternity, which has been enshrined in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. The 4 basic objectives, that is, now first we will discuss about justice. Our preamble secure justice to all Indian citizens. What are these justice? Social justice, economic justice and political justice. So these are the 4 type of justice, 3 type of justice: social, economic and political. Now first of all I will discuss what is social justice. Social justice means the absence of socially privileged classes in the society. No society, no class will get special privilege in the society, and no citizen can be discriminated against any citizen on ground of caste, creed, color, place of birth, religion, etc. India accepts the securing of social justice as a goal. So when our constitution was made, it was one of the goal of our freedom of our makers of the constitution. It stands for elimination of social exploitation in the name of caste or creed. For this purpose, the constitution grants the right to equality to all the citizens, makes untouchability a crime, and grants special protection to the weaker section of the society for securing their equality with others. Now this is known as, now you see, just now I have said that there will be no privilege, but the weaker section of the society will be given privilege. For them certain seats will be reserved in case of educational institutions or in case of job, because they have been exploited for a long time. So to bring them at par, certain special privileges are given to the weaker section of the society. Now economic justice means no discrimination between man and man on the basis of income, wealth and economic values. So some may be earning more, some may be earning less, but there should not be any economic exploitation on the basis of the income. It involves the concept of equitable distribution of wealth. Now as India is a socialist country, India will try to remove the disparity between the rich and the poor. For economic justice basically means the government should provide the 3 basic needs, that is the food, clothes and shelter. And economic justice means man must be free from the fear of hunger, that what I will eat tomorrow, that fear should not be in the minds of the man. Economic equality, end of monopolistic control over means of production. Monopolistic means that a single person or a group of person will be controlling the total economic system, which is prevalent in a capitalist economy. But in a socialist economy, the means of production will be in the hands of the government. Decentralization of economic resources and securing adequate opportunities to all for earning their livelihood and a welfare state. Next is the political dimension of justice means equal, free and fair opportunity to the people for participation in the political process. That means each and every individual will have the right to cast his or her vote, and each will have the right to contest election. So the Constitution of India provides a liberal democratic political system. India is having a liberal democratic political system where the people have the freedom to express their view, thought, speech, etc., in which all the people have the right to elect their representatives and the right to hold public offices. Next we have liberty. What is liberty? You see that in the preamble it is mentioned itself that it lists liberty of thought. As we have seen, justice, social justice, economic justice and political justice. So liberty of thought, you have the liberty to think, thought, expression, belief, faith and worship as the objective to be secured to all the people. So this is liberty of thought, expression. You can express your views. It is not a dictatorial country. If you feel that the government which is not working properly, you can protest against the government, but it should be a constructive protest. Just only for the sake of protesting, it cannot be done. So thought, expression, belief. Everybody's belief. You have your own belief. I have my own belief, and I have my own worship, my religion. Now there is no such obstacle in your religion, in obeying of religion. Today you are Hindu, you can convert yourself to a Muslim, or you are a Muslim, you can convert to yourself to a Hindu, because India is a secular country. People of all religion get equal importance, and in a secular country you have the liberty to preach, practice and profess your own religion. Next we have equality. Realizing fully the importance of equality and the interrelationship between liberty and equality, the preamble makes equality the third major objective of the Constitution. So that is justice, liberty, and then the third major objective is the equality. It has been described in terms of two variables, equality of status and natural equality of all persons as equal and free citizen. So naturally all the citizens are free, but artificially all cannot be same. Some is tall, some is shorter, some is fat, some is thinner, some is rich, some is poor. So in this way it goes on. Equality of opportunity, adequate opportunity for all, for securing equality. Now in equality, everybody will, in India there cannot be any discrimination on the ground of caste, color, creed, gender. Everybody will have equal opportunity, equality for government exam or for getting admission in the colleges, everyone. And last is the fraternity. Preamble clearly states that another major objective of the Indian in the Indian Constitution, which is to be promoted among all, is the fraternity, a feeling of spiritual and psychological unity. It is designed to secure dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the nation. Human dignity was held to be supreme value in our national liberation movement. So another important thing is that fraternity, because India is a multicultural, multi-religious country. So here we all should live together as brothers. So that is why the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948 declares all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. The Indian Constitution in its preamble accepts this as a major objective of state in India. And next in this chapter we have the date of adoption of the enactment of the Constitution, which I hope I have already discussed. That in the Indian National Congress, which was founded in 1885, had its session every year right from the beginning. Even today, every year they have their annual session. Similarly, in 1929, in the session, the Lahore session of 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, prior to that, an option was given to the British that if they do not give us the dominion status, they will go for Purna Swaraj, or complete independence. Accordingly, when it was not given to the Indians, it was decided that in the annual session it was decided, and accordingly this resolution was passed of Purna Swaraj, or complete independence. Accordingly, on 30th of January 1930, the national tricolor flag was hoisted. Indian flag was hoisted for the first time. So that was a red letter day. So since then, every year on 30th till 1947, 26 January, as it was hoisted on 26 January 1930, every year the flag was hoisted till 1947. In 1947, when India become free, and then our Constituent Assembly was formed. Prior to that, so the Constituent Assembly was formed, and finally the Constitution was made. The Constitution took around approximately 3 years to complete. It was ultimately completed on 26th of November 1949. But it did not came into force. It came into force on 26th of January 1950. Why 26th January? Because in the Lahore session, after Lahore session in 1930, the tricolor flag was hoisted for the first time in 1930 on 26th of January. So to commemorate that day, though our Constitution was completed on 26th of November 1949, it came into force on 26th of January 1950. So in this chapter we have up to this. So from 16th we will be having our online class. not from tomorrow, but from 16th we will be having our online class. So in that, not online class, in this week though we will have this offline class. So we will continue, we will start with the Constitution of India, the salient features. Till then, all of you take care, stay safe, stay healthy, goodbye.